right, thank you. I heard you all had a tough night last night, so thanks for being here. I'm trying to keep you awake in those comfortable seats over there. So I'm Karl, and I thought it was a good idea to start this thing, and I hope this thing works. Everybody's laughing with my fucking hell Windows laptop, and now it's broken. No, it is. It is really. Fuck. No, it's not blue, but it doesn't move. It likes my name too much. Oh, fuck. Oh, there it is. Come on, baby. Wake up. Ha! All right. Woo! So, oh my God. It's not a quiz, it's a poll. I will show you two examples of several pages, and it's up to you to decide which page was more successful. And with successful, I mean which page led to more conversions, more people buying stuff on those websites. This is a page from a website from Barco. Barco is an international company, manufacturer of screens, projectors for health industry, movie theaters and stuff like that. I think this page was made by a designer who really thought, oh yeah, the call to action should be above the fold. So bam, even before you can see anything, there was a big call to action, get a quote. And at the end of the page, after the features, there was also a get to quote button. This is version B, where you see the right-hand side here was kind of empty. So we put a call to action on the right-hand side, get the quote, where to buy. And when you scrolled, the call to action was always visible. So wherever you were on the page, you could always see the call to action. Which of those two versions was the most successful, do you think? Who votes for this one? Who votes for this one? That's a majority. We'll see in about 20 minutes. Yeah. This is another example. This is the homepage of Ardennes Tab, which is a website where you can fucking hell rent holiday homes. Now that will happen quite sometimes. It's Windows, I don't know. But don't worry. Where you can rent holiday homes in the Ardennes, which is a pretty nice area in Belgium. This is the search, right, bam, on top of the page, and this is a big, big call-out, and it says autumn, a chalet in the woods, falling leaves, hot chocolate, and a cozy fire. I love autumn. And there's also a dwarf walking around with a dog. This was also a slider, so every 5 seconds it moved, so there was a next slider. This reads 97% of happy clients. You get a gift when you buy something, the phone number and all other stuff. And this is another version of the same page where the search was more, I think, in the middle of the page, and then these things are direct accesses to nothing. To the black hole of darkness. No, there were direct access to the most popular searches like holiday homes with an indoor pool, a cozy fire, allowing pets and stuff like that. And these are direct entrances to the most popular destinations. Once again, what do you think? Which homepage worked the best? Who votes for this one? 2, 3, 2.5. So that means everybody else, yeah? Well, we'll see in about 30 minutes. And if the screen gets blank, it will be in about 5 hours. This is the last version, same website. This is a product detail page. This line was not there. That's the average pagefold on desktop. So we only did the tests on a desktop, a laptop, bigger screens. So the beginning of the page is a big photo, other photos, and these are the unique USPs. And then the other version, I think it was also made by the designer who thought, oh, we should put everything above the fold. So we had the photos. There was a nice sentence saying, oh, this is a nice little house where that was recently renovated. It is decorated with care. It has a nice atmosphere. You and your family will really like it. There's also, of course, the price, and you can change your the availability, time frames. There's also a number saying that most people liked it. I think you will have this one right. I'm not saying about the previous one. Who votes for this one? 1, 2, 3. So everybody else for this one? All right. I think we're on a roll here. So I'm Karl from AG Consult, and I made my first website in '96. Oh yes, I used to be a developer. well, not really. Development in 96 was Notepad and front page. It wasn't even from Microsoft yet in 96, so I was not a designer. For those who don't remember 96, that was the years that the Spice Girls had their first hit, oh yes, and that everybody, including me, was dancing the Macarena. If you don't know the Spice Girls, if you don't know the Macarena, you realize that I'm really old. And that's what I've been called the last few years, many times. People saying, oh Karl, you're so old, you're outdated. I've heard it all over the years, especially from you, the designers of this world. When at a certain moment in time there was something called Second Life, and people are saying, Karl, what are you doing? Websites are dead, man. Second Life is the future. Yeah, it was. And then there was the rise and fall of Flash, and everybody was, and I wrote an article about Flash is awful and it's terrible, and people were saying, oh Karl, you're so outdated, man. Flash makes websites so incredible dynamic. It is the future. Yeah. And then there was Google, and everyone was saying, because I'm also an information architect, like websites are dead, it's now about web pages. The structure of a website isn't that important anymore. Well, good luck if you want to do good SEO with a badly structured website. And then there was Facebook, and everybody was saying again, yeah, web pages are dead. It's everything should be moved to Facebook. I hope that those companies that moved to Facebook had a happy death. And then there was, of course, the rise of the smartphone, and everybody was saying, Karl, why don't you move to apps, man? Apps are the future. To all of those who said those things to me, fuck you. There are 50 billion web pages around, and most of them suck. And that's good news for me, because I'm a usability guy. People call me to make their web pages better. But it's you to blame, because you made those websites. So yes, for those who thought this was a happy morning talk on Saturday morning, no, it isn't. It's a rant against designers. Well, maybe some designers. And I think one of the reasons that some websites fail is that we, or you as designers, you and UX strategists and UX people, you want to make the interface of the future. And this is what happened with the city of Antwerp. For those living in Belgium, you know what it is. For those who don't live in Belgium, Antwerp is the only city in the world. We call the rest of the world a big parking lot. So when they created a new website, they made something completely new. They called it the AOS, the Antwerp Operating System. So we were called in to do some user testing, and this was the first beta version, and we did user tests, and the failure rate was 74%. Normally we start to getting happy when the success rate during user test is about 80%. At the final stage, the final beta, they did not really listen to us, but they made some improvements, but still the failure rate was 56%. So 56% of all tasks could not be completed with the users we recruited for the user test. And in fact, most of the users were referring to the existing website. They say, why did you change it? Because we really like this. This is a list of the top tasks, the most important tasks that visitors do on the website. But then the guy who invented the Antwerp operating system, he said, Karl, you're so outdated, man. This is the future. This is how every website will be in 5 years, and our users will adapt. Since then, I've never heard of him again. It's not working there. But when I'm looking at the website of the city of Antwerp now, and it's 1 year later, I think it's not the users that are adapting, but the website is adapting. Because now it looks like a normal website, again, with top tasks and everything that users are doing. And I think that's one of the problems. And really, people, the future is now. You have to make websites for now. For me, this is one of the big examples of how a government agency or a government website should look. I think you designers, you all know this. Gov.uk, I think it started in 2012, the same year as the Olympic Games. There was a design award evening in the UK that year, and even the Olympic Stadium was nominated. And I can imagine that evening where all those architects in their suits walked into the room and thought, is this our competitor? And then the guys making this, They won. They won a design award. And since then, most of you, I think, believe that this is how a website should look, a government website should look. And everyone's like, whoa, look at this, it's so new. And I thought, yeah, I made my first website in '96. And the most popular website in those days was this one, Yahoo. And it looked the same. It's exactly the same. A big search, and direct entries to the most popular themes. Direct entries to the most popular themes. What is good for the user doesn't change through history. The future is now. And that is your job as a designer, to make websites, to make interfaces that people can use now. And your job as information architects, as designers, as front-end developers, as UX strategists, as whatever you call you, is to make sure that visitors can find what they're looking for on a website, that they're happy, that they can reach their goals, that they get answers to the questions they have. And you have to design it that they can find it now, maybe also tomorrow, but not for next year, not within 2 years, because then maybe the internet will not exist anymore. Because then it will all be about conversational interfaces. Fuck that. Now it will not. But this is your job. Making visitors happy. Isn't that the most beautiful job description in the world? So when somebody asks you, what is your job? Don't tell them I'm a front-end developer. No, I make people happy. And I make sure that people visiting a website, that they turn into clients. And I also, you agree, that is one of the goals of your job, making visitors into clients, because that will make your clients, the people that will pay you, make them happy. And I know that a lot of design agencies, they think that this will make the clients happy. Oh, we won a Cuckoo award, we won a Line Golden award. Fuck that, man. That's self satisfaction, sorry. So for those who are now doubting, like, who is this guy on stage? Why does he tell all those stories? Yes, I'm ranting all the time, but we do have clients, and some of them you probably know, some of them you don't, but we work a lot. We're doing this for 15 years. I'm talking about conversion optimization on many conferences throughout the world. And yes, somebody voted me in PPC Hero listing number 3 of the most important experts of conversion optimization. And that's what I want to talk about. Not about me, but how conversion optimization, the fact that we could do A/B testing for the last few years, helped me to create better interfaces. I'm not a designer. I always end up with mock-ups. I don't do the final design. But I got a lot of new insights, or maybe not so new. We'll see in a minute. Now, just to get things straight, I hope that everybody agrees that if you want to do something with UX, which is about the user experience, the U is the most important thing. It is about the user. So we always start with user research. We do testing, user testing, surveys, interviews, Google Analytics, scroll heat maps, all kind of things to learn to know the user, what his needs are, what he wants to do on a website. We make a strategy. For most of the time, we decide what should be on the website, and for a lot of companies, what should not be on the website. Then we make a structure, and we make mock-ups. We have the same methodology when we use A/B testing and conversion optimization, finding the problem areas, doing the user research to find out the why, and then we do the testing. And a lot of examples I will show here are about A/B tests, and I think that everybody knows what an A/B test is, but in case not, this is a 1-minute introduction. If you're making a page as a designer, I hope your page has a goal. If not, please leave the room. Every web page should have one goal, at least one goal. There can be several goals, but there should be one goal. And I hope your web page will, at the end, have some visitors. And when your website has enough visitors, and you should have at least 1,000 conversions a month, then you can start A/B testing. And A/B testing is where you make an alternative version of the page. It can be a small change. No, I don't hope that the only change is the color of a button. It can be a different layout, different wordings, and whatever. And after a while, the software will tell you if the version is better or worse than the original. That, for me, is the end of conversion optimization. And we will see how you did it when I present the cases. Remember this one. Well, why did you vote for this one? Now everybody's like, oh fuck, we probably had it wrong. I didn't vote, Karl. I'm not in the room anymore. Why did you vote for this one? Shout it. It looks nicer, and we are designers. We want it to look good, baby. And it involves some technology, some scripting. The floating nets bar there, it's always there. Poopy-doo-ah. Well, this was the winner. And it was a big winner. There were 83% more people clicking on the call to actions. 44% more people doing the dealer search. Why? Is it something new? Is it something that I, Karl Gilis of AG Console, discovered the last 6 months? No. This is an eye-tracking research dating from 2006 by Jacob Nielsen. I know you all hate him because he's so outdated, as am I. But he got it right. This is an eye-tracking research about the right-hand bar. Look how many people look at the right-hand bar when there's text, when there's creative stuff, when they are shouting things like top 10 most read articles, please read this, please do that. Nobody. And you know why? Because the human eyesight only has 12.5 degrees. We can't see the right-hand side of a page. We have to move our head. We don't like to move our head. I wrote an article about it in 2006, the death of the right-hand bar. Then there was a guy, Bart de Waele from WES, who responded in another article, said, no, Karl, screens are getting bigger and bigger, so we should use every space of it. No, you don't have to do it. There's a reason why Google dumped the right-hand bar a few months ago. Nobody looks at it. It is the dead area of a page. It has been like that for 10 years, and what do we do as designers? Otherwise it's so empty. Let's put something there. Let's put something there that is important, because it looks nice. No! Fuck no! And that is one of my main messages. Don't do what you've been taught, especially not by teachers at school, because they don't know what they're talking about. They never worked in a real situation. Switch off your autopilot. Know the articles, know the facts by Jacob Nielsen. Read articles from Kissmetrics, Unbounce, and all the likes. Forget your gut feeling. If gut feeling really worked, oh boy, every website I made would be nice, because look at my stomach. Gut feeling, it doesn't work. You have to know the facts. Another example. This is a website where you can not really buy, but you can make a reservation for people living in Belgium. It's Cardoon, for a used car, a second-hand car. Can I ask you a question? Besides the price, so don't shout price, and besides the way it looks, what is the most important criteria when you want to buy a second-hand car? Condition, yeah? Mileage. I think mileage. Most people are mileage and condition and how old is the car. In this case, it's in the top right. How do we read in the Western world? Good, good, good. You still are alive. Cool. I thought somebody died in the room. So what we did, we moved the layout from left to right. So the most important thing for most people was now immediately visible. The mileage, the year it was built, and the most important technical specs. And yes, that resulted in 26% more reservations. And I'm not saying that everything should be on the left, but you should think what is the most important thing for the user and where is he looking at. And am I the god of UX? No, I made mistakes. If there are people from Wonderkraut in this room, they will probably recognize this. This is the old version of the Suzuki website. And at that time, I still made mock-ups in my company, and I made a mock-up of this one. And I thought, yeah, for a car company, the photo is probably important, so I will put the call to actions right above the photo. There were also call to actions at the bottom of the page. You don't see it on the screenshot. And when we did some user testing, what happened? Of course. Where was everybody looking at? Ding, 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 ding. Where somebody, not me, put a very important call to action. Do you like this car on Facebook? No! Do you know how many people shared a Suzuki car in a full year on Facebook? In this case, it was 0, but in total on the whole website, it was 6. And I bet it was always the girl from the marketing department every 2 months like, yeah, it does still work. So what we did was very easy. We moved the call to actions to the left hand of the page, and of course we saw a big lift, because the left side of a page can be rather important. So adapt, change things, know what is right. I love designers. How many hours, how many million of hours would have been spent in bars and online about the discussion of the pagefold? Oh boy. So there was an article in 2009, the pagefold doesn't exist. We responded, yes, the pagefold is important. There is something as, maybe not one pagefold, but there are several pagefolds. There's something as the viewport. And there was a certain guy, maybe you know him, Jacob Nielsen. He responded on our blog article and said, yeah, Karl, I don't understand why people say something that is a myth because it provably exists. And of course, there were designers like Paddy Donnelly who created websites like this. Live Beyond the Fold. You know all those websites, because designers love to go on those websites. Like, oh yeah, you see? And then you scroll. Some people would have you believe that you aren't reading this, but yes you do, because it's the tip of the iceberg and people do scroll. And all designers were like, yeah, I like this website. And then there was the real god of UX saying, yeah, the fold was a concept introduced by someone who was a moron, scared out of his or her pants when confronted with the possibilities of a non-static communications channel. This person held tightly to something that solved their insecurity and was unfortunately backed by other conservatives with agendas, like Norman and Nielsen. Okay, he couldn't write Nielsen, the god of UX. And of course there were other designers saying, yeah, the fold is for pussies. Well, for fools. Well, it is not. And in 2015, someone in the team of Jacob Nielsen wrote another article, The Fold Manifesto, why the fold still matters, and they did research, and you should read that article, that indeed how people behave above the fold, so what's in their viewport, is 84% different than what is beyond the page fold. And I know some of you are really thinking, fuck, I should have gone to the JavaScript room. But you're locked in. This is a scroll heat map. It's only 30 days old. It's from a Belgian website, Komono, which sells internationally sunglasses and watches. This is part of their homepage. The red area is the one that everybody sees. The color blue is less than 20%. Someone is going to the JavaScript room. This is what we call the rainbow pattern. That means that almost nobody scrolls. Is there life beyond the fold? Sometimes not. It's the Dead Sea. Nobody goes there. Am I saying that nobody is scrolling? No. But what is above the fold, in this case one big image and a stupid text lost in translation, really matters on how people react and if they will scroll or not. This is another example from Barco. And these websites are made by big companies. It starts with an E and it ends with Makina, and it's Belgium based. They're noted on the stock trade, or how do you call it, stock exchange, and they make this. What we noticed, this is everybody likes it, parallel design, parallax design, how do you call it? What we noticed when we measured scroll depth in Google Analytics is that only 52% reached the second screen. That means that 48% of people coming to this page saw this page and thought, and they were gone again. Why? I don't know. Maybe it has to do with design, maybe it has to do with content. Let's see. This is about ClickShare, which is a product that allows you to wirelessly share a projector in a meeting room. ClickShare wireless presentation system, title, nah. Then the subtitle, The Power of Wireless Collaboration. That's a stupid title. And I know that most designers are now thinking, yes, but that's words, Karl. We are designers. If you don't care about words, you're a decorator. You're not a designer. And then you can share this on all known and unknown social networks, as if. ClickShare is Barco's wireless presentation and collaboration system, just a repetition of the title. And then there are these two nice photos. No, they're not important because the product is meant to be hid away in a meeting room. And then there are these two gray buttons on a gray background because, oh, Karl, we don't want our buttons to stand out. That's not so beautiful, man. You don't know nothing about design. And then there's this one, Discover, and it was jumping down in reality, like, oh, scroll, please, baby, scroll. And then there was this strange background image with thinking, is this the product? Is this the ClickShare thing? And then we changed it. And as I said, I'm not a designer, but we just wanted to see what the impact was of some changes. We changed the background image, we ditched the social shit, we changed the text because it was a stupid text to the most important advantages. We introduced a video, and the first screen of that video, the still of that video is very important. These were the most 6 asked questions at sellers of the product. And then we had one button that stand out. Oh no, Karl, you made a button that stands out that people see? Yes, the result was that we had now 33% more people starting to scroll, which led to more interactivity lower on the page, and of course it resulted in lots of more requests for quotes, lots of more brochure downloads. So yes, long pages are not a problem, but you as designers and UX strategists are responsible for the fact are people scrolling or not. There should be something that we call scroll intention. It should be clear that people can scroll. Once again, what do you think? There's also a design issue on this page. What is the design issue? The white space and the horizontal line. This is what we call a false bottom, and you will always see it when there's a thing like that. Some people think, oh, it's the end of the page. So the solution is what we call visual queuing, and I'm not saying this is the perfect example, but you see there are not horizontal lines, but lines going down. So these lines should indicate to visitors that there's something on, that there's more things going on lower on the page. So once again, long pages, okay, but make sure that people scroll. And for those designers, because when I'm talking about this, there are always designers like Karl said that everything should be above the fold. No, I didn't say that. Not everything should be above the fold. People do scroll, but there should be something important above the fold. This is another example, and I'm getting so sick of it. I'm telling this since 2002. This is what some designers do. They make a page, they put a call to action on top of the page, and what we have when people scroll at the end of the page, there's nothing to do, it's a dead end. And I'm saying this since 2001. Please repeat your main call to action at the bottom of the page. Remember the example you all got wrong from Barco? When there was a call to action on top and one at the end? It always works, because when people start to scroll, they're interested in your stuff, they want to do things. That is a fisherman, the bait is out and you just have to lure him in. That is design. No, it's boring, Karl. Yes, you have a boring job. This example has nothing to do with design, but I love it so much. Once again, it's about social share, what I like to call social shit buttons. This is a website about homeopathic, they want to sell homeopathic stuff. This is a blog article, and it's about menopause. And it starts with a text, and here is the solution for the problem. But at the end of the article, there's also this lovely button. Do you want to share it on Facebook? Because yes, that's what people like to do, share their medical problems on Facebook. No! Maybe some designers are now saying, yeah, but this is how we got the mock-up, this is how the strategist wanted it. Don't do what they tell you to do. You have a brain, use it. This is stupid fucking shit. Say it. Say it to the guy, to the project manager of the other people who think they're important and know nothing about stuff. Oh, fuck, I won't have many friends after this lecture. But anyway, what we did was just moving the solution, the product, to the bottom of the page. And of course, there were more people now buying the stuff. I'm thirsty. And I have water, and you don't. You shouldn't have drunk so much. All right, next usability problem. Please tell me when I only have 15 minutes. Huh? The big header image. I've been talking about this for a few years. This is from the website of Morgan, which is a newspaper. If you want to read an article, what is the first thing you want to see? Yes. Normally in a room full of designers, they now also shout, a photo, Karl. No, a title. The title is here. That's not a good idea. And I don't understand it, and I'm sorry that I'm calling names, but this is one of the strategists, UX strategists for a Belgian company who said, Karl, I don't understand what you think is wrong with that page, because UX is more than the functional. Yeah? Well, Bram, these are the Google quality guidelines from December last year. The main content should be prominently displayed front and center. The main content should be immediately visible when the user opens the page. It should be clear what the main content actually is. You know, Bram, this is not the main content. All right? Thank you. Yeah, Karl, but Apple is doing the same thing. That's also a reaction I got. And I'm thinking, what? You are a designer? And you think that this is the same as this? No. Because the first thing you see on the page of Apple is the product name. You immediately see the title. And then there's a big image. I'm not saying that big images are worse, or you can't do them, but there's a place for them. What did the people at the Morgan do? We make the image bigger. Because yes, in the publishing industry, we don't have any problems. Money is coming in. We don't have to care about user experience. We are the future. Good luck. Can I prove this? Yes, we did several A/B tests. This is a website, Inutech. It's a daughter of the Koning for people from Belgium. This is a German daughter company. They sell doors, terraces, windows, and stuff like that. And they had a nice image on the home or on a product category page. But you see what the big image does? It pushes the content down. So we did an A/B test where we made the image smaller, not bigger. You see what happens? The content is coming up. And these are the amazing results. A big increase on number of clicks on those buttons. Woo! Mama. And also a big increase on the number of clicks there, big number of increase lower on the page. So yes, it does work. All those things work. I'm not inventing this because I want to rant against you, but you have to know those things. This is another thing we tested with a tool called Hotjar, which is really amazing for scroll depths. And this is a page from a tourist website, Visit Ostende, and they had famous Flemish people, BV's, talking about their favorite spots in Ostende. And what we noticed was when there were photos, big photos, that really showed something there was to see in Ostende, people did scroll further. There was no hesitation. But when there was a photo, with in this case, the star of the article, Katja Retsin, looking intelligently in the nowheres, people left the page. That is what visitors do when they see big visuals that don't have added value. That is design. So don't go home and say, Karl has said you can't ever use a big photo, because that is not what I'm saying. I hope designers have more in their mind than just black and white. All right, this is another example. It's not very important, but it's back to the user research thing. This is a page also made by a Belgian agency for a company selling carports. And it was okay. There were photos, there was a bullet list, there were green check marks, there were call to actions. And I think that the problem with a lot of designers and our design agencies is that they start just making sites, but they don't know what the user really wants. That's why I can't stress it too much. If you want to be a UX guy, know your user. We did a lot of user research for this one, asking people, why did you buy a carport from this company? Why did you want a carport anyway? And then the ultimate question for people who are clients, what would you miss the most when we took your carport away? And now you're all thinking, huh? But the answers we got was like, fucking hell, that's raw material we can use. People were saying things like, oh no, then I have unloaded my groceries in the rain again, and I will start scraping ice from my car again. And we use those exact words on the top of the page in this bullet list. It's not about features, it's not about benefits, but about things people hate when they don't have a carport. And the result is that the visitor is now nodding like, oh yeah, I don't want to do that anymore. No, no, no. And then we have the benefits, and then we have all the rest. And I know that as a designer, if you're just a designer designing things without any knowledge of the user, you can't make this. But that is part of your job, or that is part of your agency life. Know the user, know their needs, know what it is all about. That's the basic. That's the U in UX. You can use tools like Hotjar, I've mentioned it before, for scroll heat maps, and I hope as a designer you also look at sometimes at click heat maps. This is a click heat map, and you see most people are indeed clicking on the call to actions I created, and I was happy. And then I noticed that some people were clicking on things that were not clickable. And the first reaction is always like, those visitors are so stupid. But your reaction should be, fuck, I'm stupid. Because I made something that made them believe it was clickable. But if you don't know this, if you don't look at these heat maps, you can't improve your designs, you can't improve your final results. And if you have a screen map like this, where people were all clicking on these buttons, we didn't make it, and they're not clickable, then you have a problem. But you should know those things, that they exist. If you create a homepage like this one from Barco, where everybody is clicking on the second item in the menu, and almost nobody is clicking on any item on the homepage, you have a problem. Yeah, but it looks good. Yeah, but this is what the marketing people wanted. Is that your job? Making what the marketing people want? Does that give you any pride in your thing? No. React on those things. If this is what you made as a homepage and nobody clicks here and everybody's clicking there, you have a problem. So use those tools. Know the fails in your designs. Make them better. It's not the user that's the moron. It is you. Yes, it's so a good, happy talk. Oh boy, lovely to start the weekend. I'm feeling good. Now, this is back to gov.uk. They thought they were one of the first websites without a main navigation, but in Belgium we have belgium.be, which has no main navigation since, I don't know, 2004, 2005. And we all started to live with it, and most governancy websites are now without a navigation, but because we think, or the user comes from the homepage and he clicks and he can use the back button, or he comes in via Google and he don't need the main navigation. But when it comes to companies or product websites, we still have the main navigations. And we did some serious testing the last few months. This is Connections. There's a travel agency in Belgium selling, amongst others, but flight tickets. And this is the page of their flight tickets. There was a lot of paid traffic coming into that page. And what we noticed again in Google Analytics was that lots of people were clicking on the main navigation, and then they get lost. They didn't turn into visitors. Simple A/B test, bam, remove the navigation. Goodbye. The result, bam. More than 30% sales at the end of the funnel. And we did it again with something that, designers love the last few years. The floating navigation. We make a navigation, and when people scroll, the navigation is always there. Why? Why do you do that? Well, because it's funny to make. So this was a floating navigation on a landing page of the product we saw earlier. It was always there, and we thought, let's remove this bullshit, and yes, it worked. There were now 25% more people getting a quote. Because when navigation becomes a distraction, and it mostly is a distraction, your conversion will drop. Ghost buttons. Yes, Karl, we are designers. We want pages to look good. We don't want that people see our buttons. Because that's the past, Karl. A button is something that we got from the real world and it looked like 3D. But this is a 2D dimension, so we don't want any bevels. We want our buttons to blend in. And this is a test we did together with the guys from Unbounce It, my Ollie Garner, and it just changed the mighty call to action to a ghost button. And do you know what happens? People got lost. There were now 600% more people clicking on things that were not clickable because they didn't know what is the call to action. Yes, Karl, but it doesn't look very good. If you want to make things that look good, become an artist, and please never, never get involved with websites anymore. Please do. Stop designing ghost buttons. This one, you all got right. Well, except those 2.5 people, I think. So yes, indeed, this was the big winner. So people really want to see the most important things above the pagefold. A call to action should have a different color than the main color in your page. The most important thing should be there. This is how we learned it. We looked at the page. This is the click heat map. Everybody was clicking on this arrow. This was a scroll heat map. No, well, a lot of people didn't see the prices because it was just above the pagefold. Oh, yes, you're right on this one. Yay! Pop-ups. We love to hate them. He was here yesterday. I didn't see him today. Johan. He used to be a good friend until this tweet. Sorry, Johan, I'm not meaning it. But we were in a discussion about things. I said, I really, really hate the overuse of all those exit or modal overlays everywhere because they all want for the sake of more conversion. Bah! And I was so surprised with this. For the sake of more conversion, bah! Because I really believe that is your job. More conversion. And of course there was another guy, Vincent Mouton from Marlon, who liked the tweet because it's so funny to bash Karl. They didn't know I would use it, so don't talk to me like that anymore. No. It's my life. I'm doing this for 15 years. I'm old. I don't care what people think about me anymore. So this is a page made by an agency in Limburg, the Limburg. And they apparently read an article from me which said the call to action should be at the bottom of the page. When I mean the bottom of the page, please people, I don't mean the footer. Oh, we're designers, black and white. So, this is a blog article, and then really at the end there was the call to action to subscribe to the newsletter. There was nobody getting there, only 15% of people, probably because their mouse was stuck or something. So we changed it, and we did something strange. I know, we used the right-hand bar to put the subscription bar. And this worked. We had now an uplift with, wow, 525%. And now you're all thinking, Karl, but you said the right-hand bar sucked. Yes. But I didn't tell that was the original conversion rate was 0.03%. And it now was 0.15. Woo-hoo-hoo! It's nothing. So what we did, we repeated the call to action here for the newsletter. Also, that didn't work very well. And then we had the brilliant idea to create an exit modal overlay. And bam, now we had 38 times, not percent, 38 times more people giving their email addresses. Yes, for the sake of conversion, Johan. And we do it all the time on the Suzuki website, and they sell more cars thanks to it. Sake of conversion, yes. This is another website, it's called Assepoester, the Cinderella in English. They sell wedding dresses, not online but offline. He only has a physical shop. So he has landing pages, people coming through it. He wants people to go to the contact page and then coming to his shop. This is the page. Nice. This is how it looked in Hotjar scroll heat map. People were looking at the images, they clicked on it, but they didn't scroll. So we changed the page, images, text, and we created something we called a lookbook. That's a catalog with more wedding dresses. These are the call to actions. They went to a modal overlay. There was also an exit overlay. And yes, 23% of all brides gave us their email address. Nice. Is this the end? No. We looked again at the click heat map of our new improved version. And what we noticed was that a lot of people were clicking on the left-hand navigation. And we thought, no, because navigation is distraction. So we removed the navigation. And now we have 46% of all visitors giving their email address. Oh no, for the sake of conversion? Bah. Fuck you all. That's the result. And what did it lead to our client? What did he do? Well, he has now more than 100,000 email addresses a year. Mind you, this is a physical store where you can buy bridal dresses. And then the story goes on. Of course, he now gets more people in his store. He also had more money to buy software so we can really see what people are doing on the website, send them targeted emails. He now is starting to open a store where he sells accessories like shoes, and because he has this huge mailing list, he's making deals with other people in the bridal industry. And yes, that is your job, making your clients happy, making the visitors happy. Make money for them. I don't like overlays. Yeah, get alive. Thank you. 15 minutes left, and this is exactly the point where I wanted to be at those 15 minutes. What do I think? Where we, and I say we because I create mockups. I'm a designer too. I'm not a front-end developer, but I make mockups. I make how pages should look, and I failed. I made some of those things that we saw that failed. But I tried to learn from them, and I think one of the reasons, and that's not my case because I'm a usability guy, where we and a lot of interface designers fail is that we don't really care about the user. We don't really care about the user experience. Because when we make a website, we're sitting on our own in our room with our computer and tools. And we're scared to go out. Oh no, you want me to talk to someone who will really use it? And we hate Jacob Nielsen. And we hate all those websites. And you hate people like me doing the tests. And then you make things like this. This is the old Marks and Spencer website. This is the new one. It did cost 150 British pounds. They never went out. The result, 6% less sales. That's not good. That's not a good investment. This is what many people do when they see a form. Oh, let's make it shorter. So they make the form shorter. They leave out fields because they read an article on some stupid website that form should be as short as possible. And they just leave out some random fields, and the result is that less people are filling in those fields. Please, people, don't be a designer like that. Know your stuff. Do your user research. It is about the user. If you're not doing that, your designs are just you're just gambling with the money of your clients. You don't know what the result will be. And yes, I am from Antwerp, so my ego is big. This stage is too small for my ego. And most designers also have a big ego, because we are creative people. We have big egos. But that's a problem. This is who I used to be, Mr. Expert. I've done more than 4,000 user tests. I've seen it all. I don't need to do user research anymore. That was what I thought a few years ago. I have my crystal ball and I know what's best for your website. Well, no. I still have my crystal ball, but I fill it with data, and that's how you should make your designs. Use the data. This is from Albert Einstein. I think he was rather a smart guy. I don't know what you think about him. But he said, the more I learn, the more I realize how much I don't know. And that's so true. And after 20 years in this business and 15 years in the usability business, this is really what I started to notice. The more I've seen, the more I realize, fuck man, it's difficult, it's different all those times. You remember this one? I like this one. But it didn't do shit. And we tried it again, and again, and we changed the homepage again, and again. And it didn't do anything. Why? Because apparently, for this website, the homepage isn't important. Do you know which other website who makes some money, the homepage is not very important? Booking? I'm not sure about Booking. They have the search, but I think the homepage is rather important, but the rest of the page not, because they've done so many A/B testing with the rest of the page and they don't change it. But Amazon, they once published it, and it's, I don't know exactly, but it was something like 0.0000, and then something of their revenue was coming from the homepage. So sometimes the homepage isn't important, but this is what I call ego testing. I thought that this homepage sucked, so I wanted to make it better, but I didn't have the facts. You have to have your facts. And this is really a problem, and I understand agencies because you're paid by your clients and you want to please your clients. That's the only excuse I can find, that we are still, some of you, but we all made it. Sliders. We all made them. And we all knew they sucked. But we made them, I hope not because you believed they were good, but because the client wanted their homepage to be more dynamic. But they suck. And if you don't believe it, They suck for a long time. Karl Gilis is not here, but he threw away, I saw a tweet a few weeks ago, sorry Karl, I threw away your book from 2003. And this was tip number 58 in that book. And I didn't know it was called sliders or carousels, but I said, don't use areas that are changing all the time. It was 2003, and usability people already knew it sucked. And still, more than 20% of all websites have sliders. They suck, suck, suck. This is an experiment we did on the Suzuki website. It has been repeated by Dell, Shoe.com, Clarks.com, and he likes if you remove the slider with static images, you have more clicks in the same screen real estate. We reduced the number of images from 4 to 2, and even then we had 55% more clicks. Because yes, and you know it as designers, less is more. If a client wants more, it's your job to make it less. Then, at the end, the client will be happy. And it's your job, as a designer, as a developer, to fight. You know what sucks. The client not, because he hired you. That means that he doesn't know how to do it. So it's your job to help your client to make it as good as possible. And the tools are available. And you've all been there. Every marketer in the world is saying those things to you. Yes, Karl, I believe in the concept of less is more, but we as a brand, we want to push things on our homepage. And Karl, you, and especially you, Karl, because you're a photographer too, you know that an image says so much more than 1,000 words. And I think, oh no, not again. But luckily, the tools are available. For this client, and it's a huge health insurance company, we used a tool called Chalkmark, which allows you to upload screenshots and do some user testing on those screenshots. And we made 3 versions of a homepage. And mind you, they're mock-ups, not final designs. And one of the questions was, you want to retire and you want to have a happy pension. Can this company help you? This is version 1. There's a small banner on top, and it mimics the question. You want to retire without any worries, we have a solution that suits you. These are entries to the top tasks. There's no entry for a pension, but here below the pagefold was a ball. Here there's also an entry to a theme called My Retirement, My Pension, with direct accesses to the solutions. That's version 1. Version 2 had a bigger banner. Sophia wants to learn to play the violin because when she wants to retire, she wants to have a happy life. The top tasks are gone. Now we have images, because they say so much more than 1,000 words. And there were some words underneath the image, and this was a theme called My Pension, My Retirement. And this is version 3. Top task entries, in this case no entry to pension plan, but we also asked other questions, and this is an entry to My Pension, My Retirement. What do you think? Which version was the most successful? Who votes for this one? Most successful is the less number of fails. Who votes for this one? Small banner on top. Good. Who votes for this one? Sophia has learned to play the violin. All right, not a lot of people. And who votes for this one? All right, well, good. The variation with Sophia was the worst performing version. There was one person clicking on a banner. I guess it was someone from the client itself. And of course there were people clicking there on My Pension, but the failure rate throughout all the questions, not only this one, but all the questions, was 67% of fails. The one with the small banner performed better. Yeah, it mimics just, in this case, the question. But even then, the nice thing for us was from this particular question, 20% were clicking on the banner and 30% were clicking below the pagefold. Yes, there is life beyond the pagefold. And it almost performed the same as this one. And the client was disappointed because he liked Sophia, because that was his or her creative. So the client said, Karl, let's make the banner bigger. You know that, yeah? Let's make the logo bigger, let's make the banner bigger. So we made another version with a bigger banner, and this was the question. You just bought an apartment and you want to get an insurance for it. This was the version, the boring one. Top tasks, this is home insurance, so that was if you click there, it's okay. This is an area saying my home, so if you click there, it was also okay. And then there was a version with a big banner, with a guy just moving in, the boxes are there, lying on the floor on his apartment, very happy, saying, oh no, insure your apartment and only pay per square kilometer. Per square kilometer, yeah, that's how we live in Belgium. so per square meter. It's cheapest solution ever. Also an entrance here, home insurance, and an entrance there. What do you think was the most successful one? The boring one or the bigger banner one? Who votes for the boring one? Good. I think I learned you something today. It was the boring one. We had 3% clicks on the banner, of course, a few clicks there, but failure rate was still 42%. And on the boring one, there was 20% of fails. It took us a long time and a lot of budget, but we convinced the client, and that is your job. That is what makes you a good designer. That is what, at the end, will make your clients more happy. Fight. I'm not saying that you have to bash them all the time, but fight for your beliefs. And you know all this shit, because banner blindness has been around for 15 years. It has been documented, but the client still wants big visuals. Please, people, fight for your rights. Oh, that's a good song. Forget banners, forget other cries for attention. Jerry McGovern has said it before. I always said it like this to my clients: stop selling your stuff the way you want to sell it, and start selling it the way people want to buy it. And that is really what works for Google, what works for Amazon, Zalando, and all the likes. Listen to your visitors. And I know that new things make us happy. We are creative people. We want to do those new things. That's why Flash was so popular. That's why ghost buttons were so popular. That's why those sliders were so popular. But please, people, realize that it's not better for the end user. This thing is happening right now on all those websites, the hero movie. It sucks. We've done so many tests now. It is a distraction. The static version always works better. Always. Please believe me. And don't get me wrong. You have to find for new solutions. I don't want to see Yahoo-like websites for the next 50 years. But realize that the new hype is not always the solution. You should test things, or you should read tests about those things. If possible, do your research, because every website is different. The audience is different. The products and services they sell are different. Something that works on website A doesn't necessarily work on website B. Does this make your job less sexy? Maybe. But I think it will really make a difference when you start designing like this. Because then your clients and your visitors will be more happier. And isn't that the goal of our job? To make people happy? Yes. Thank you.